This next problem asks us to calculate capital M molarity for another solution. And we again start by writing down the definition. This would be moles of the solute, which would be strontium nitrate, divided by the liters of solution. And again, the problem doesn't give us the correct unit, so we need to do a conversion starting from 287 grams of strontium nitrate. Turn that into moles using the molar mass. So again, we get that from the periodic table. 211.64 grams is 1 mole of strontium nitrate. And the denominator, liters of solution, was given in the problem as 2.5. So when we multiply through, capital M molarity is 0.542, and you would read that as 0.542 molar solution of strontium nitrate. Now that molarity will change if we, for example, dilute it with water. So now we take a certain volume of this 2.5 liters. We only take a sample of it, 25 milliliters. And then we add enough water so that the new volume is increased to 500 milliliters. Well, if the volume of the solvent goes up, you can see in this formula, if this part of the fraction goes up, capital M molarity has to go down because we're dividing the same number of moles by a larger denominator. That gives us a smaller answer. So when you see a problem like this, there's a dilution shortcut. M1V1 equals M2V2. This works when you're adding more solvent. This is not for reactions. So later we're going to look at chemical reactions, and this would be an incorrect formula to use. For this problem, this is the correct formula. So M1, that's our starting molarity, which we just calculated was 0.542. V1, V stands for the volume, and we used a volume of 25 milliliters of that solution. We had 2.5 liters, but we only diluted 25 milliliters of it. M2 is the new diluted molarity, which is the unknown, and V2 is the total volume, which I wrote over, but you can see it was 500 milliliters. So one nice thing about this dilution shortcut formula is the volume that you use on the left and the right will cancel out as long as you use the same unit. So you don't have to use liters or milliliters. You can use whatever's convenient in this problem, and those two units will cancel. Solve for M2. We know it has to be less than 0.542, and it is 0.0271. Now this dilution formula, you can use it to figure out any of these four variables. So in this problem, we're trying to figure out how many milliliters of this would be M1 of sodium sulfate to make 350 milliliters of a less concentrated 0.7 molar. So the first molarity is the higher number, 0.95. And in this case, V1, the volume of that we're going to use, is unknown. M2, the diluted molarity, is 0.70. And the total volume we want is 350 milliliters. So double check the units. Notice capital M on the right and capital M on the left cancel each other out. divide the 0.95 over to the right and get V1 by itself, and V1 will be just under 258 milliliters.